If every country in the world is in debt, then who is actually getting paid? Think about that for a second. The United States is in debt, China is in debt, Europe is in debt, Africa is in debt. Every government tells the same story. We owe trillions. But debt is not imaginary. Debt does not vanish. Debt always belongs to someone. So here is the question no one wants to ask. If everyone owes money, who owns it? Because history teaches us something very important. Money does not disappear. Power does not disappear. And debt never disappears. It only changes hands. This question is not about economics. It is about power. Throughout history, the people who controlled debt controlled nations. Kings lost their crowns because of debt. Empires collapsed under debt. Wars were started because of debt. And today, we are living inside the largest debt system humanity has ever created. Global debt is more than $300 trillion. That is more than 3 times everything the world produces in a year. Which means one thing is very clear. This system was never designed to be paid off. So if it was not designed to be paid off, who designed it and who benefits from it? Let us start with the most common explanation. People say countries owe other countries. America owes China. Japan owns American debt. European countries lend to each other. China lends to Africa. This sounds logical. It feels simple. But it is also incomplete, because countries do not lend money the way people do. They issue bonds, and those bonds are not held by flags or borders. They are held by institutions, banks, funds, insurance companies, asset managers. The moment a bond is issued, it enters a global financial market. It is bought, sold, traded, and leveraged. So when we say one country owes another, what we really mean is this. Financial institutions own the paper, and those institutions do not care about national pride. They care about returns. This is where debt stops being political and becomes structural. Now let us talk about banks. Banks are not governments, but governments cannot survive without them. When a government needs money, it does not go door to door. It goes to the market. Banks buy government debt because it is considered safe, but safety comes with influence. Banks do not just lend money, they shape policy, interest rates, budget priorities, economic reforms. When countries struggle to pay, banks do not ask if they are suffering, they ask what can be sold. Land, resources, public services, debt becomes leverage. And when the situation becomes desperate, a new player enters, the IMF, the World Bank. Officially, they exist to help. In reality, they exist to stabilize the system. Their loans come with conditions: cut spending, raise taxes, remove subsidies, open markets. On paper, this is called reform. In real life, it means the population pays the price. Hospitals lose funding, education shrinks, public workers suffer. And yet, even after all of this, the debt remains. It is extended, restructured, renamed. The country stays trapped inside the system. Now we reach the center of everything, central banks. This is where the story changes completely. Central banks can do something no one else can. They can create money out of nothing. When governments borrow, central banks often buy that debt. They print new money and exchange it for bonds. This process is normal now. It even has polite names. But historically, it means this. Debt is backed by belief. A government owes money to an institution that can print unlimited money. This is not an accident. This is the design. So let us stop avoiding the truth. If countries owe each other, if banks intermediate, if institutions enforce rules, if central banks create money, then who is the real creditor? The answer is uncomfortable. There is no single creditor. The creditor is the system itself, a system built on confidence, a system built on trust, a system built on interest and time. Debt is not meant to be eliminated. It is meant to continue forever. Now here is the part most people never realize. You are part of this system. If you have a bank account, if you pay taxes, if you save money, if you have a pension, your money is used. Your savings help finance government debt. Your taxes help service interest. You do not control it. You do not vote on it, but you are inside it. History has seen this before. Rome collapsed under financial strain. Spain drowned in imperial debt. France exploded under debt pressure. Empires do not fall when they are poor. They fall when confidence breaks. Debt only works as long as people believe tomorrow will come. So let us stop answering the question one last time. If every country is in debt, who is the creditor? Not a country, not a flag, not a single group. The creditor is a global system designed to survive on borrowed time. Those who understand it fear it less. Those who do not pay endlessly. History does not repeat itself, but debt always does.